Everyone has advice for couples. How to make a relationship work. How to compromise. How to communicate better. How to share a bathroom, a bed, a life with another human being. There are entire industries built around it: books, therapy, podcasts, weekend retreats, television shows, Instagram accounts with matching couple fonts. You cannot scroll for 10 seconds without someone telling you how to love someone else better. But nobody, and I mean nobody, ever sat me down and said, "Here's how to build a life just for yourself. Here's how to wake up alone and actually look forward to the day. Here's how to eat dinner at your own table and feel full in every sense of the word." Nobody teaches you that. And that silence, that gap in the conversation, that's exactly the problem. Maybe you're watching this right now alone. Your place is quiet. A little too quiet. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this voice, small but persistent, wondering, is this it? Is this what my life looks like now? Is this all there is? I'm here to tell you, yes. This is your life. And I need you to hear what I'm about to say very carefully. It can be the biggest, fullest, most genuinely alive version of any chapter you have ever lived. Not in spite of being alone. Because of it. I've lived alone. Then I didn't. Then I did again. And every single time, I had to relearn it completely from scratch. Because living alone is not something that just happens to you like weather. It's not something you endure. It's something you build. Deliberately. Intentionally. Decision by decision, morning by morning, brick by brick. And when you build it right, and I mean really build it, you stop looking for the exit. So let me give you 7 things. Not theories. Not quotes you'll screenshot and forget. Things I actually learned, sometimes painfully, sometimes embarrassingly late, that turned my solo life from something I was just getting through into something I was genuinely, honestly proud of. The first thing, stop shrinking your life to one person's size. The first mistake I made, and I see everyone make it, is I started living small. Like somewhere in my brain I had decided that being alone meant I didn't deserve the full version of things anymore. I stopped going to restaurants I actually wanted to try because it's weird to sit alone. I stopped buying the good olive oil because it's just me, the cheap stuff is fine. I stopped making the bed properly. I stopped lighting a candle. I stopped cooking real meals and started eating whatever required the least amount of effort while standing over the kitchen sink. I remember one specific evening. I had ordered my favorite takeout, the kind I used to order as a treat, as a celebration, and I ate it straight from the container, standing up, scrolling my phone, not even tasting it. And when I finished I thought, when did I stop being a person who sits down for a meal? That right there, "It's just me," is the most dangerous sentence in solo living. The absolute most dangerous. Because the moment you say it, you've already decided you're not worth the effort. And once you believe that, everything else starts to follow. The dishes pile up. The good clothes stay in the closet. The things you used to do that made you feel like yourself, one by one, quietly, they disappear. So here's what I want you to do. This week, do one thing you would only do if someone else was watching. Go to that restaurant. Buy the good coffee. Set a real table for one. Light the candle on a Tuesday for no reason. Do it anyway. Not for anyone else. For the person who lives in that house. Because that person is worth it. Even if right now you don't quite believe that yet. The second thing, build rituals that belong only to you. When you live with someone, your routines get tangled up with theirs. Your morning is their morning. Your weekend is a negotiation. There's beauty in that, sure. But there's also something you give up, the chance to build something that is entirely, completely, unapologetically yours. When I first started living alone, I wasted this completely. I just filled the time. Television, phone, sleep, repeat. It took me a while to realize I wasn't building a life. I was just killing time in one. Then I started a small thing. Every morning, before I touched my phone, before I checked anything, I made a proper cup of coffee. Not instant. Not rushed. I boiled the water to the right temperature. I measured the grounds. I waited. And for those few minutes, just those minutes, I didn't think about what I had to do or what I hadn't done. I just stood there in my kitchen, in the quiet, and I made the coffee like it mattered. And something shifted. It sounds too small to matter. But it mattered enormously. Because it was mine. It was the first thing I did every single day that said, today exists. I'm in it. And it belongs to me. It doesn't matter what your ritual is. A walk around the block. Journaling one page. Stretching for 5 minutes by the window. Reading something real before you read anything online. Whatever it is, make it yours. Protect it. Do it the same way every day and do it like it's sacred, because it is. Your ritual is the first thing you do every morning that proves to yourself you're still here and still worth showing up for. The third thing, fill your space with your own energy. Here's something nobody warns you about. When you live alone, the silence doesn't just sit there quietly. It gets loud. It starts filling itself with everything your brain has been avoiding, the doubts, the old memories, the what-ifs, the comparisons. The silence becomes a container for everything heavy. I went through a period where I'd come home, close the door, and just feel the weight of the quiet pressing down on me. And my solution at first was to turn on the TV immediately, just for noise, just so the room didn't feel so empty. But that wasn't filling the space. That was hiding from it. The shift came when I stopped treating the silence as something to escape and started treating my home as a space I was responsible for bringing to life. I started playing music while I cooked, real music, stuff I actually loved, not just background noise. I started talking out loud. To myself, to the room, to no one in particular. I started singing badly in my kitchen and not caring at all. And here is what I learned. You are the life in that room. Not a guest in it. Not a temporary resident waiting for real life to begin. You. Your voice, your sounds, your energy. That's what makes a house feel like somewhere someone actually lives. Don't wait for someone else to bring that. It was always supposed to come from you. The fourth thing, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for. I want to ask you something honest. If someone you loved, truly loved, was skipping meals, sleeping terribly, never leaving the house, canceling on friends, wearing the same thing for 4 days straight, would you let that go? Would you say nothing? Of course not. You'd show up. You'd say something. You'd make them eat something real and get some air. So why are you letting yourself do exactly that? I had a period, a few months in, where I had genuinely stopped taking care of myself in the most basic ways. Not dramatically, not in a way anyone would notice, but quietly. Cereal for dinner. Sleeping at 2 a.m. for no reason. Not moving my body for days. Saying no to every invitation until the invitations stopped coming. And one morning I looked at myself in the mirror, really looked, and I didn't recognize the person looking back. Not physically. Energetically. That person looked like someone who had given up on themselves very quietly, and was hoping nobody noticed. Living alone means you are both the person who needs care and the person responsible for giving it. There is no one else who is going to show up and make sure you're okay. That is your job now. Your most important job. Cook real food and sit down to eat it. Sleep at a time that respects tomorrow. Move your body, even just a walk around the block. Make the bed in the morning, not for anyone else, because it tells you the day has started and you're in it. Wear the clothes that make you feel like yourself. Not for an audience. For the person who lives here. Because that person deserves to be taken care of. And right now, that person is you. The fifth thing, stay connected without losing your solitude. Here's a trap I see people fall into constantly, and I fell into it myself. When you live alone, you go one of two directions. Either you fill every single hour with plans and people because you cannot stand the thought of sitting with yourself. Or you pull back completely. No plans, no calls, no effort, and you call it independence when really it's just isolation with a better name. I did both at different times. The overscheduling phase left me exhausted and somehow lonelier than before. The disappearing phase was worse. I went 2 weeks once barely speaking to anyone and told myself I was just enjoying the quiet. I wasn't. I was fading. What I learned is this: you don't need a packed social calendar. You need consistent, real contact. There is a difference. One real phone call, not a text, a call, an actual voice, can do more than 20 messages. One coffee with someone who actually knows you. One weekly check-in with a person who will notice if you go quiet. I started calling one person every day. Just to talk. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes an hour. And I started showing up for people the way I wanted them to show up for me. You don't need constant company. But you need contact. Like reaching out and touching a wall to make sure it's still solid. Just reach out. Let someone hear your voice. Let them remind you that you exist to them. Every day. Especially on the days you don't feel like it, because those are always the days you need it most. The sixth thing, make your home a place you actually want to be. Your home is your only roommate now. And if you've been neglecting it, what you've actually been doing is living with someone who doesn't care about you at all. I looked around my apartment one evening, maybe 3 months in, and realized I had done nothing to make it feel like mine. Same furniture, same arrangement, same everything, but it felt like a waiting room. Like I was just passing through. Like real life was somewhere else, and this was just where I slept between the important parts. So I changed one small thing. I bought a plant. One plant, a small one, put it by the window. And it sounds ridiculous, but I felt it immediately. There was something alive in this space that I was responsible for. Something that needed me to show up for it every day. Then I cleared one corner and made it exactly how I wanted it. A chair, a lamp, a book, My corner. For nobody else. You don't need to redecorate. You don't need to spend money you don't have. You need to claim your space. Make one corner of it feel intentional. Make it say, someone who gives a damn lives here. Because when your home feels like somewhere you actually want to be, being alone in it stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a privilege. The seventh thing, and this is the one that took me the longest, learn the difference between lonely and alone. I saved this one for last because I think it's the most important thing I've ever learned about living solo. And I don't think I fully understood it until I had been alone long enough to stop being afraid of what I'd find there. Lonely is a feeling. Alone is a fact. And these two things are not the same. You can be lonely in a crowded room, at a party full of people, in a relationship, in a family home. And you can be completely, genuinely at peace sitting by yourself on a Sunday morning with nowhere to be and no one waiting. Lonely and alone do not belong together the way we've been told they do. I remember one evening, quiet, nothing special. I was sitting in my chair, the plant by the window, tea going cold on the table, and I realized I wasn't waiting for anything. I wasn't waiting for a text, or for the weekend, or for some future version of my life to begin. I was just there. Present. And it was enough. More than enough. That was the moment I understood. The life I was building wasn't a lesser version of some other life. It wasn't Plan B. It was real. Real mornings and real meals and real moments of genuine peace that belonged entirely to me. That's not small. That's not sad. That is everything. So that's it. 7 things. Stop shrinking yourself. Build your rituals. Fill your space with your own energy. Take care of yourself like you mean it. Stay connected. Claim your home. And learn the difference between lonely and alone. I'm not going to tell you it's always easy. Some days the quiet gets heavy. Some days you'll wish someone was just there, not for anything specific, just there. That's real and I won't pretend otherwise. But I will tell you this, the life you build alone, when you build it on purpose, when you show up for it the way you'd show up for someone you love, it becomes a life you're genuinely proud to live. Now go do one thing on this list. Not tomorrow. Tonight. Make yourself something real to eat. Sit down at a table like you mean it. Light the candle if you have one. You're going to be okay. I promise.